Hey everybody, it's Yvonne here. How are you guys doing? I am in the process of trying to figure out, I want to make a small brag book, I'll call it, because Christmas is coming with time, and you like to take pictures and you like to put it in your purse and you like to kind of brag off your children or just pictures of the family or whatever. This is how I'm going to attempt to do mine. These are bags you can get at the dollar store here, Dollarama here in Canada, and you can get them in craft or in white. I grabbed the first bunch I had in my closet, so I grabbed the white ones, and all I did was take 2 bags where the flaps are. I know there's tons of videos out there on YouTube, but this is how I'm going to do mine. This is because these are not large sandwich bags, they're just small bags. They're only 7 inches by 7 by 4 3/4, so they're not that big bags. So what I'm doing is I'm taking where the flaps are here on the back, and I'm gluing them together like this. And I have done 4 bags right here, which is all glued together that same way. I just glued 2 like this and 2 more, and then I glued them on the bottom like so. But you don't want all this part to be part of your little brag book because our purses tend to be a little snug. Now if you have a good cutter, you could put this underneath and cut along. There's a line, an automatic line there, where the second bag folds. If you can see right under the camera there, see where all the bags fold there, right there? But if you look at the top, I don't know if I can manage that to show you guys, there's a line right here. So I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to cut that off by hand. Now that I have done it, I would probably suggest to you to cut it first. It just makes life a lot easier. But as I'm creating on the fly here, it's kind of touch and go. So I would definitely take this and throw it in the garbage after. But you can easily take the bag, put it underneath. The line is right there, and just cut it 1 bag at a time, and you end up having a nicer cut than me trying to do it with my scissors, just like so. Okay, so one thing that it did do, because I was just trying to do a prototype, is I cut off some of the glue. I hadn't glued it tight for that particular reason. So if I do that, let's start again. If I do this and cut 4 like this, we'll just do it you can do it as large as you want, but just for creating on the fly with you guys, this is how I create. But I mean, you guys may have a totally different way of creating, and that's fine too. Nobody's obligated to any specific ways. There's a ton of these videos on YouTube. Everybody has a different way of doing it. Some people cut the ends here to make a pocket, but those are bigger bags. I'm just going with the dollar store bag here. Nothing too fancy. I'm going to show you the basic, and then it'll be up to you how you want to do it. Now I've cut off all the ends, as you can tell. I am going to glue these 2 parts together. And I would highly recommend that you use a strong glue, just because you want it to last. You wouldn't want it to come apart. I am using right here some Sook Wang or whatever. It's 2-way tape, but you can use whatever glue you have, but I would recommend to use the strongest that you have. You don't want it to come apart. And now that I have that tape on there, I'm going to line this up really, really good, because I don't want a crooked elbow. And this is where I struggle all the time. Since I've only have one eye that works, I tend to not necessarily see well and do some straight work but I'm determined to do it anyway. Okay, so you're going to do one. It's not going to put me down. At least I'll do as much as I can while I can. All right, going back to this, I'm going to do my second one. I'm going to cut him off. These bags, by the way, I believe they were $1 or $1.25. I've had these now for a little bit, but I know they still have them. I've seen them again this week. I just never paid attention to what the price was. I just go there and either it's $1 to $4, so you can't go wrong. Now that I've taped all these together, I'm going to attach the two on the good side, but I'm going to do the same thing, only at the edge. Okay, like this. And I'm going to attach that. Ugh, my scissors. It sticks on my scissors. I should take my other ones. Don't stick on glue. But anyway, so here it is. And I am going to attach this bag on the edge like that. Now, as I said, you know, you will line them up really good and you won't have an issue. If you haven't, I have, like I said, I don't see very well. So when I have a little edge like that, that does not, because of me not lining them up properly, I just take it and I cut it off like that. And then I have a smooth edge to work with. So that is that. Now I'm only doing 4, but you could do 6 if you want. And what is this going to do is you have yourself some side for pictures and little doodads that you want to put in there. But you want it to look better than this and you want to decorate it. So you go in your paper stash, whatever paper stash you have, and let me tell you, I have tons of it, all cut up here and 6 by 6, and some of them I have no idea where they all come from, but anyway, I'm going to use some to make this. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to attach that to the front. So the bag is at 4 3/4. So I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So 4 1/4. Can't use this one. This one is not long enough. That only goes up to 4 inches. I love my little things. I wish it just was a little longer. So I'm going to go 4. Nope. What did I say? 5 1/4. 5 1/4, like so, and I am going to cut it this way at 4 1/4. I believe that's what I said. If not, I'll be cutting it again. So this should, 4 3/4 is 4 1/4, and this is 6, and I cut it down too. Okay, perfect. Perfect, because this is what I'd like it to look like. Now, if I'd have been smart, I'd have cut it at 6, period. Now, to show you the difference, because I can. Here, I have at 6 inches, and I have at 4 1/4. Okay, so now that I have these two, this is what I end up with. This one here is longer, and it'll fit all the way through. So when we bind it and put a cover over it, it will cover itself. Now, if you leave it like this, this will work too, which is, this is at 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. You will need to center it in order to have the 3 sides matching, because you are going to bind this. That's the only difference. And here is the same thing. You'll line it up. But what happens here is you have to bind it. So I would recommend that you go 4 1/4 by 5 1/4, like that, and that you it'll be just not as bulky where you're going to bind it. So I would say that you'll be much happier trying to put a needle through there. So I will set this up. like this. So I leave it about 1/4 of an inch is the way I cut it, so you would have about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Okay, some of you will be a little better than I am when it comes to that, but this is the idea. And you're going to do that on each and every piece here. You're going to take this and you're going to do the same on this side. And this side I'm going to cut it, so I'll be back when I have all 4 sides done up. Okay, so I'm back, and this is what I ended up with. I ended up with attaching the inserts to dress it up. Now, if you wanted to add, let's say once you filled it up and you wanted to add another bag to it, just cut the back of the bag and you can just slide it in like this, and then you would have yourself another bag added to the bunch. But this is what I call myself a protocol type of setup, and I'm doing it live with you guys. So I went into my old stash of paper here because this is a prototype. It's not going to be with the very best of my papers, but here I have from Paperworks, a division, Sunset Beach, or made in Canada, whatever. This is, I bought a stack from a lady who stopped. She had a shop about an hour away from here. She had a scrapbooking shop, I think. I never knew of the shop, but I realized one day I was looking for a paper rack, and here she was selling her paper rack. And that's the one that actually displays a 12 by 12. I couldn't have been any happier. I was just jumping for joy. I was able to get 2 for $50, and those are the white metal ones. So I was quite happy. But anyway, when I got to find out her story, I asked her if she had any supplies that she wanted to sell, maybe in bulk or something. So I ended up buying a box of paper, which I used, and these were some of it. I've used a lot of it, but I still have quite a bit of it, and I've donated, I'm sure, a stack that big, you know, it's just the way it is. So anyway, since I'm doing this as a demo, I'm taking 2 sheets like that to attach them, because these are not as thick as cardstock. But if I was going to do this, I would definitely use cardstock. Now, at this point, you can sew the edge if you wish, put some rings on it, and you're almost good to go. I wouldn't say good to go. I'd like to see it dressed up a little bit more. So this is why I came with this. Now, it's going to be a little tricky because I'm doing it with you guys here, and I want to know how this is going to work. I'm not too sure how this is going to work. If I do it like this, I'll be cutting it here, so which I'm cutting it at 7. Let's play. Let's play and see what playing will do for me. Let's just say, sake of argument, whoop, I'm going to just say I'm going to do this. I'm not sure, guys, how it's going to turn out, but this is a fun trick about playing. Is what you end up with is what you end up with. But had you not tried it, you wouldn't know. And then if you like it and you get to do your second piece, I'm like that. I like to try things out. I do like to cast, which is, you know, grabbing somebody else's idea. Definitely like to cast. But I also enjoy making my own. My line's a little iffy. Now, I could work this like so. So let's see. If I did this, okay. If I did this, and I cut up another strip right there, right here, for sake of this, And as I said, we're kind of working this as we get along, as we go along. So you might be in for a rude awakening at the end, just like me. But it's fun. Fun, fun, fun. It's always fun to craft. I craft just about every day. I'm very fortunate to be retired. And my hubby loves to play the guitar. So he's always upstairs playing his guitar, and I love the stuff that he plays. Brings back a lot of good memories. He plays a lot of Gordon Lightfoot, James Taylor, all that good stuff, and he plays it just like the record, which is phenomenal in my opinion. And I love that. And many, many Saturday nights we will just... Guys, I'm going to cut this at 8 inches, and I'm going to overlap it. So I'm going to pull this out. This is what I'm doing here. I'm cutting it here like this, okay? And I'm going to do the same. So this is cut at 5 inches, like this, cut at 5 inches, and again at 8 inches. Okay, well, let me trim this edge first. And let me go 8 inches. Why, you know, sometimes we tend to want to throw away our leftovers, and I did give some away because I did have a lot, but normally it's a good idea to keep some, because if you're a creator like me, you like to have something that you can play with. You don't always want everything to be... I'm going to score that at 1.5. You don't want everything to be, use your good paper for everything you do. So this was my thinking anyway when I got this one, is to make sure that it would be useful. And I have used a lot for exactly what I'm doing. And then when you throw it away, it's not so bad. Your heart doesn't go kabloink. There goes some money. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to overlap this one like this. See, this is how you could work it if you had more bags in there. But since I don't have that many, I am just going to cut a little bit more. Let me cut. I cut it at 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to take 1 inch off. I may regret this, but I'm going to take 1 inch off, so it's still folded where I put it. Here you go. And I'm going to leave this at 100, like this. All my videos aren't like this, guys. You know that. If any of you are followers of me, I don't always work flamboyant like this. I normally work really, really hard at making sure that everything I give you guys is absolutely correct. This time here, I thought, I just wonder. Let me share with you guys. And here I am. So, as you can tell, I have a 1/2 inch there, and I have a 1/2 inch here. So I'm going to overlap it exactly like this. I'm just showing you guys an easy way to do it. You can make it easy or you can make it complex. It's totally up to the individual. And because I added 2 papers together, I cut off my adhesive, so I have to kind of put it back together like this. Now I'm happy. It's getting there. So normally you would use a cardstock for this, so you'd have no issue at all, but I'm using it as a demo. Now I'm going to add this in here, and this is what it's going to end up with. Okay? As again, don't judge the paper. The paper is just there for being convenient as a prop, so to speak. That's what I call it, prop. And I just glue it right at the crease, right there. And if I glue it right at the crease, I should have myself an even book. See? Like this. If you want to, you can add some more. Let me see if I can do this. Like that. It'll glue to the side here to keep the spine in there. And don't forget, this book is all glued together here. So there's no danger of it falling apart. You just want it to stay in the book. So there we have it, right like that. And my edges are shown here, but you have the gist of it. Now if I want to be real fussy, I could, and I'm not real fussy, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to cut that off. Add this in here. I have myself a book, a little brag book. You can either wrap that with a ribbon, close, or you could even make a buckle. You could glue this here. You could glue it, or you could also put a grommet if you wanted to. You could add that there like a little strap. And here you could just take it. Use a piece of Velcro. I know I have some here. Here, good old dollar store. The two-sided Velcro here. One of each. And we put one on one side. These are sticky little devils. And then you add the other one on top. Fold it down like this. And you have your book. What do you think of that, guys? Pretty simple, huh? On a wing. Anyway, this is my version of my little paper book. And here you can just put make some cards to add in there if you wish. You can do so many things. You can add cards, you can add another card in here, you can add some pictures in there. Just a little brag book. You know, your grandkids, they draw you pictures or whatever, and you just want to throw that in your purse. And by doing that, you end up having a nice little brag book. I know it may not look real pretty, but for prototype, my next one is going to be just awesome. Thank you for being with me throughout this little video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. And it's a good way to use your scraps when you're trying something out, I'll tell you. And if it turns out, then you go to your good old paper that you hoard all this time. So, the whole idea is to make yourself a brag book. These are dollar store bags. These are just leftover papers from the paper pad. Same thing here, which I made the book. I have myself a little book. It could even be shorter if I wanted to. Totally up to you. You make the measurements and you keep it. This is Yvonne. I'm signing off. That's enough for now. Have yourself a great day, and I'll be back for another one real soon. Bye-bye.